what percentage of men do you think go to the doctors about things going sexually? And I don't mean like anything else, but sexually, things happening downstairs. What percentage do you think goes to the doctors?
I'm going to say
23%.
65%.
Tongo?
23%.
Citrus?
40%.
I was going to say about 40.
So 33% of men with those problems go to the doctors. So that's a staggering 67% of men do not go because they don't want to talk about it, or they don't want to have the
With the problem.
This is all with the problem. So don't want to talk about things because of the stigma. Yeah, exactly. The embarrassment, the stigma of it all, which comes down to when you know that's on a thing like that. Now, when you're talking about other things to do with health, whether it be mental health or physical health, the number of men that go doctors is even smaller. It's mad. Like there's a real stigma with these sorts of things. So we may joke aside and say, yeah, you know what, we'll try things differently. But ultimately, there's the men that are in those positions are not going to the doctors because they don't want to talk about it because they're fearful of it.
Do you know what?
Buddy?
One of the problems I believe is, and as much as we having banter in here and we have banter outside of here, but it's like, I think sometimes as much as it's just the banter and it's the things like, oh yeah, my feelings are getting hurt. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, why is he going to say that? Why is he so weak? And when you start putting things like that, it stops people from saying to themselves, you know what, I want to talk about this. I want to come to you guys and say, you know what, the other day I was in the bedroom and it only lasted a minute. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, you look like, right, only a minute. Even if you're not saying it to my face, I know afterwards the phone call, as soon as I've left, is gonna be like, yo, buddy was there for 1 minute, bro. Like,
but in regards to that and the mandem, if in the mandem's chat, I only lasted 1 minute, what's your immediate thought?
I'll be like, are you all right, bro?
I'm gonna DM. I'm not gonna say it in a group. I'm gonna DM them. I'm gonna advise them what they should do.
I'll
go to the doctors. My first one will be, you need to go to the doctors.
I would hope that there's people being sensible like that. And to be fair, and I'll be very honest with the man in the group, there are a lot of sensible people that wouldn't make such a big joke about it. But I suppose, depending on how it was delivered, all right, depending on who it is, like there's like, I'll use one of them in the group.
Without naming the names?
No, I'll name his name. It's fine.
Oh.
If GBH did it, all right, we'd probably make jokes out of it. Because we say, oh yeah, because he's a strong character. If Citrus did it, we might even be someone to say, oh yeah, let's make jokes out of it because we feel like he's a strong character. Not knowing, remember I was saying earlier on, you're putting on this brave face to turn and say, yeah, I'm the mask, I'm the strong person. Haha, Citrus can take it, it's fine. GBH can take it, it's fine. And then you realise to yourself, he's gone back and he's like, can't believe they're still over. And he's upset about his thing. So this is why it's like... Literally, innit? But it's like, we put these masks on and maybe it's not right to put the mask on. Just say what you're feeling. This is why I don't mind, for one, to say, you know what, I feel this way. This is what I'm going to expose. And I'll expose it, good or bad. You like it, don't like it. And I'm happy that I've got the group of friends I have got to turn and say to myself, you know, I can say these things and know to myself, you might say, oh, Buddy's a bit emotional, Buddy's this, but I've told you how I feel. So at least you know. So I'm not going to get the backlash, or I can feel open enough to tell you, lot, if I am a 1 minute man, I've told you, lot, you know what I mean? You lot would know, I'm struggling, help me. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would say. Go on.
Tongo.
So on the subject of hiding things from people or keeping it to yourselves, whatever, what percentage do you think it is that men hide their mental health issues from their partners?
From their partners? I'd say about
85.
I'm gonna say about 60%.
How much?
I'm gonna say about 60%. I think it's a high percentage.
Ren?
80. 85, sorry.
I said 80.
All right, so I'm going to go 90 then.
37%
Wow.
admit to hiding mental health issues from their partners.
Wow. Which is still a high number.
Still a high number. That's a high
Admit.
number.
Admit
So
to hiding
admit,
the
that's
issue.
admit to hiding the issue.
So
they don't really tell their partners still.
That they
So
go through
70,
stuff.
70,
Yeah.
So 63.
Yeah. But I suppose it depends on, as we said earlier, innit, how you're delivering, that you're giving that information. This has been a really, you know what, it's been such a interesting subject. At some stage, we'll probably not having to do a part 2. But just for those that are watching, make sure you tune in for the next podcast. The next podcast is going to be accountability. And hopefully Sirelli will be around to give us the whole info about accountability, because he did have a lot to say about it. So hopefully that'll be the case. But just as a quick roundup around the room, generally, what are your final things you would say? Physical health, mental health. And I'll start off with Citrus.
Okay, so I'm gonna choose because I think a lot of us are gonna pick mental health. So I'm gonna pick physical health, and I'm going to say, do not be afraid to explore your body, observe the changes, observe your age and your routine, your sleep patterns. And if there's anything that changes or you feel a little twinge here or there, don't ignore it. It's your body. You know, like someone said to me before, pain is your body's smoke alarm. Do not ignore the smoke alarm because eventually there'll be a fire.
That's a very good one.
Pin that.
I was the person that said it. No, you didn't. That's me.
Goodness me. Buddy.
I mean, I've said this several times, so I've told I won't stray from it. Talk. And I'd always say to everybody, always be open and talk to everybody that you need to talk to. Don't be afraid to be just open and honest, because that's the best way for mental health to get through. If I'm struggling with anything, I'll always tell and say to someone, anybody who listen, close people to me mainly, talk to me. Yeah, this is what's going on. I'm upset. I'm unhappy about this. And I'm not saying that they have the answers to all your problems, but sometimes it's just best to just talk. And sometimes I've been on the phone to probably each and every one of you lot in the room, and I've probably spoken certain times and then thought, that's a great idea. You lot didn't even say a word. It's like, all right, thanks for listening. And I've come off the phone and thought that was great by myself, because I've now spoken about it, because I've said whatever it is that I needed to say. But when you speak it out, sometimes you hear it. Sometimes it might even be just you've made a passing comment and it's made sense to me. And like, that makes sense to me. I'm going to do that. It's brilliant to have friends, and it's brilliant to be able to talk to everybody and not hide everything and your emotions and your feelings, you know what I mean? So despite anybody trying to call you emotional or say that you're not thick enough skinned and, do you know what I mean, play you down, just be man enough. Being man enough for me is to say to yourself, you know what, I'm telling you how I feel, and I'm telling you what my emotions are, whether it be my partner, my parents, or my friends.
Thank you, buddy. Tongo.
I would say try and find yourself a health buddy, in the sense of no pun intended. As in someone that will, like, you can talk to about your health, you can check up with, they will check on you to make sure that your health's good. So that will be maybe, there might be two different people, because, you know, like people have gym buddies. You might have someone that's like maybe your gym buddy who deals with that physical aspect. But you must have a confidant that would deal with the confidant could be a counsellor, it could be a therapist, it could be your doctor, it could be Jill at the bus stop, it could be anybody. But try and get yourselves someone or some people that are your, like, health buddies.
Thank you, Tongo. Raymond.
I've said it before on other podcasts. You need to have what I call, well, there was a guy called Daniel Faraday who said it. This is a concept of having a constants are what bring you through or gives you a motivation to do something. So some people have their children, some people might have that they play in a football team, they might, I don't know, collect stamps. Like, if you have a constant, it takes you away from the stresses and the anxieties that you may have.